Go ahead and hit the donate button. This is to Jedi Mark for SleepyHead. See, that's what you get when you have a weird exchange rate. What the hell? Now, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I just bought a used Mac. Hey there, my name is Jason. I'm the founder of freesleepadvice.com, and I need to do an update video because it's been a while. So this is about SleepyHead. It's a free software program for looking at your sleep data when you're using CPAP at home. Now, there's a lot of people. You think you have to go to your doctor's office, or you think you need to go to a DME company, which is the people who supply your mask and your machine. You don't have to go to them to look at your data. You can look at it yourself using this free program. So I totally want to highlight Mark Watkins. He is otherwise known as Jedi Mark in the community. He spent thousands of hours developing this program, and it is awesome. Super user-friendly. I use it all the time, and so do many of the members of my forum, which is freesleepadvice.com/forum. Okay, let's go look at where do we download this thing. All right, so here we are. We're at sleepyhead.jedimark.net. Whatever operating system you have is what you want to do. Now, I'm doing this video because I just got a Mac. And now it needs to be a Mac operating system 10.7 or greater. Now, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I just bought a used Mac and it's actually 10.12. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to click on Sleep Files. Now, this is the first time I've done this with Mac, so this is all new to me. I've done it on my PC. It's been a while, so we can suffer together. Looks like it's already finished. And we're gonna go ahead and double click. Cool. Double click on the sheep. It seems like Mark Watkins has a strange fascination with sheep. So SleepyHead can't be opened because it's from an unidentified developer. Well, we know who it is. Let's go ahead and go into our security settings. And right here, we are under general security privacy. It was blocked. Let's go ahead and open it anyway. Yeah. Well, yeah, we're good. There we go. English, US. Yes, this is where it's going to store data. So it's sometimes it's a good idea. Sometimes I have a problem with importing data on a PC, so it's good to know exactly. It's in the documents folder. You can always drag stuff in there from your SD card if for some reason you have a problem pointing it to it. So basically here he's saying he's not going to be, typical stuff. Don't blame me for your crap. So Jason, I don't want it password protected. All right, let's get on with it. So how easy was that? It's already downloaded, it's ready to go. So now what we need is to put some information in there. So from my trusty Philips Respironics System 1, I have on the back my SD card. If you don't know what an SD card is, it's that little guy, okay? I'm going to be shoving this in my computer, and then I'm going to point to it so that it knows where to download it from. If you don't have a card reader on your computer, you can always get one fairly cheap. Sometimes you can use like a camera or a video camera to upload them. So on the top it says SleepyHead. I think I have this out of frame, but there's File and Import Data. It looks like you can also import it by clicking the button here. So let's try that first. Let's go ahead and specify because I don't know what the hell it's looking at. So we'll select Remote Disk. So with me, it looks like I've actually used this for my Alice PDX unit before, so I'm going to have to select the P series. So for a Philips Respironics machine, the System 1, it's always titled P series. So I'll go ahead and open it from that location. And I shows me I imported a bunch of sessions. So now we can go ahead and go into daily view. So I use this when I was reviewing the Brevita, so we'll just select daily. You have the welcome tab, you have the statistics tab. Statistics is actually pretty, it's not real helpful to me personally, but it gives you, what you did per night, last week, last 30 days. It gives you a nice overview. The overview usually isn't all that helpful other than you kind of see a trend of how well you're doing, which can be nice. I usually like to look at the daily view. I almost always look at that exclusively. And you'll want to have your, in looking at it, it's very helpful to have your flow rate on top. Now, if you were to zoom in to flow rate by pushing on the up arrow, you can get a real detailed breath by breath. You can see the pressure, you can see leak rates, and it has this nice little green line here that can line everything up and make it a little easier for you to see. So you can also left click and you can highlight certain areas. So if you say, oh, what are these things going on here, these hypopneas? Let me take a look at those. And you can actually zoom in there. You can move it with the right arrow. You can move left arrow. You can push up to zoom in. You can push the down arrow to zoom back out. But you can get a good feel for how he's doing that night. And you can see the leak rate down here. Now there's more stuff if we were to tab down. Keep in mind, it's the first time I'm using this on this computer, but it's pretty much the same. It's just no right click. So you can see that I was using this at 8 centimeters of water pressure. To familiarize yourself with this, so this is in May. You can toggle down and select different months. You can go forward, backwards, whatever. You can just select on the day. And you can see if they're highlighted in blue, that means that there's information there. The 29th, I didn't use it. So there's nothing there. I just get to look at a sheep. So let's look at the 21st. This is actually a good example for looking at data and what do you want it to look like. So this nice, you can almost draw a straight edge on the very top of this. That's exactly what you want to see. You don't want to see a ton of variance in that. Let me see if I can find it. So this kind of stuff is real choppy here. Actually, it's still not bad either, but this kind of stuff, if you see a lot of that stuff all night, that's not great, but it's not bad. Most of this is really, really good as far as what you want to see. So just some real quick things to kind of show you a little bit of the functionality and how to use this. A lot of people get freaked out a lot with this stuff. And so what I mean by that is they'll see like right here, oh my God, it says obstructive. I had an obstructive sleep apnea, oh my God. Or you'll see the same thing with central apneas. Well, let's not panic, all right? Let's take a quick look-see, zoom in there, and you'll see that this isn't Jedi Mark's doing. This is the doing of the machine. It just tags stuff. So you have to look at data. So this is showing I have an AHAB 1.01. I mean, that's not entirely accurate. It looks like something, yeah, sure. It looks like something's going on in this area. Clearly it's not an obstructive apnea because it's not entirely flat. Is it a hypopnea? Maybe, but you need to have blood oxygen levels. You need to have an SpO2. You have to have a drop of 4%. I also have to be asleep. Now, it looks like I'm asleep here because what you're seeing is a lot of stable airflow here. It's fairly stable, rhythmical. I'm not awake. If I were to look at something at the beginning of the night, if you see a lot of choppiness like this, it usually obviously I just turn the machine on, I'm awake. So if you see a lot of this kind of choppy stuff, that's usually movement. Okay, so if you were to fast forward to this, which is the one we were just on, you can see I was asleep and something happened. Was it an apnea? Was it a hypopnea? I don't know. And maybe I did, maybe I didn't wake up. Typically, you'll see a larger spike if it's an actual awakening. That's not one. So all these are probably real events. So now this is a good one. This is a perfect example of that. So you see something happen here, and it looks like there is an obstructive apnea. In truth, it probably isn't. It looks like I probably did something right in this area. I probably woke up in this area, and this is me kind of getting resettled. Most likely. You can see that oftentimes the machine will tag stuff there's really nothing even there. So why it tagged anything, I don't know. Just know to look for this kind of stuff. I'm saying dig a little deeper. I want to try to find some of the real common ones. Oh, here's a clear airway. So these are kind of like the central apneas. This is a perfect example of a false positive. I'm just cruising along here. I just wake up kind of naturally, I'm sure, right in this area. Do my yawn or whatever, and then for whatever reason after this stuff it tags central apneas. Well, you can tell it's not even flat where it's tagged, and then this period, technically that's not even long enough, so it's marking stuff when it shouldn't be marking things. So if you see a bunch of central apneas, just one look at it, and anything like this is pure doo-doo. You need to have a nice flat line that just comes out of nowhere. Oftentimes you'll see like a waxing and waning to it. It'll look like a football. If you need an example of this, go onto my website, freecpapadvice.com, and check out the central apnea tag underneath the main tag, which is sleep disordered breathing. And you can see what actual central apneas look like on what the flow channel would be. Now, what's also cool is you can correlate this with leak rates. So you can see the pressure is increasing here, but what if the leak rate spiked right here, right before someone wakes up? Well, then you know it's probably because there was a leak out of the mouth or the mask was leaking, and that's what caused the awakening. So you can kind of use this green line to try to line stuff up and see if there's any other explanations for a sleep apnea that's causing you to wake, or a hypopnea or anything. It's another good example. It's nothing right there. This is perfect. We have this is periodic breathing that's been tagged. So let's take a look. So periodic breathing is kind of that waxing and waning that you'll see here. Now for an actual diagnosis, you need to have like 10 minutes of this. This is like what, 2 minutes maybe? Oftentimes you'll see this kind of thing after you see a disruption in the breathing. So I'm cruising along here, I'm going backwards, and I'm going forward, cruising along, maybe a little movement, but whatever. It looks like I wake up in this area, and then your body takes a second to adjust. Quite honestly, this is nothing, but it's being tagged as that, and so don't freak out if you see it for really brief periods like that. If you see it going on for like 10 minutes, yeah, that's something to take note of. Otherwise, just kind of ignore it. Here's another good example. You see all this choppiness? This is wake. This is what someone looks like when they're awake and they're moving around. A lot of times you'll see events being tagged in those periods. Ignore them. So this is a nice sample. This whole period here, very, very uniform breaths. That's exactly what you want to see. That's perfect. So I'll zoom out and you can see this whole night. I mean, you could put a straight edge on this, and that is absolutely gorgeous. But a lot of people will say, "Oh my God, I have an AHI of 3 or 4 or 5." We already went through these, right? And there's a lot that are completely false. RERA, how do you know? RERA stands for respiratory effort related arousal. I don't see any EEG. There's no arousal, so who knows what's happening here? Probably nothing. Here's some things marked hypopneas. I mean, this isn't even, you don't know if it's a hypopnea. To me, this doesn't even look like there's any arousal associated. It looks like there's some dips in breathing. This looks like REM. This looks like REM breathing to me. So I'm probably just dreaming away and nothing. You'll typically see a larger increase in breath and followed by some craziness, and then it'll settle down again if it's going to be a real event. So another nice thing that you can use this for is, like, if you have this on APAP and you're brand new to CPAP and you're trying to like self-treat or something, it's kind of nice. You can look at the pressure trend here and you can see, oh, it went up and I did worse, or it went up and I did better, and then it went up here and I did even worse, but then it drops down and I do better. Well, you can kind of look at this and you can see that on the pressure line here, it's telling you what pressure it is. So you can kind of scroll along and then you'll figure out, oh, actually I do best on pressures between 7 and 9. And then you can just actually set a static pressure of like 7 to 9 or just 7 or just 8 or just 9. And you'll probably do a lot better than having it on an APAP with a range. Some people do better on a range. You just have to kind of figure it out yourself. Look at the data, look at the leak rate. What's causing this to go up right here? Am I having a leak? Yeah, maybe, but it doesn't look bad. My AHI is low, the breathing is stable. But you have to take in all these different variables and you have to try to make sense of it. But again, this program, it's about this program, and this is some of the functionality, and I love it. Thank you so much to Mark Watkins for putting in hours and hours and hours of developing this. Seriously, the sleep apnea community thanks you. If you've ever used SleepyHead at all and you get anything out of it, please help this guy out. I usually promote myself. Go ahead and hit the donate button. This is to Jedi Mark for SleepyHead. See, that's what you get when you have a weird exchange rate. What the hell? Hey, seriously, thank you very much. You're one of the unsung heroes of this sleep and sleep apnea treatment community. I thank you very much. Hey, and definitely download this program. It is, honest to God, it's a lifesaver for so many people, and I can't thank you enough how many hours this guy's put in. It's fantastic. So just download it. At least send him a thank you note, and even $1. If 1,000 people send him $1, that equals. All right, thank you very much. Hey, if you like this video, like it and subscribe. I think it helps my channel somehow. I'm not really sure how this YouTube thing's working out so far.